Right. So we're diving deep today
Okay.
into Jaguarland.
Oh, wow.
It's in the Brazilian Pantanal. Have you ever heard of that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Pantanal is the world's largest tropical wetland.
It is.
And we're going to be looking at some articles and some videos and photos today about this amazing place.
Cool.
It is absolutely teeming with life,
Yeah.
especially jaguars.
Oh, cool.
We're going to learn about how many jaguars are there, like a crazy amount,
Okay.
and what makes them so unique from the jaguars, in other places in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how this place supports such a diverse array of wildlife.
It's interesting you say teeming with life
Yeah.
because while it rivals the Amazon
Right.
in terms of its diversity,
Okay.
it actually offers something quite different from the Amazon. It's a much more open landscape,
Okay.
almost as if nature laid out the perfect stage for wildlife viewing.
So we're not talking about like a dense,
Yeah.
impenetrable rainforest.
You got it. Imagine vast floodplains
Like,
and grasslands that just stretch on forever.
wow.
You can really spot wildlife so much easier than you could
Oh,
in a dense rainforest. It's a dream for anyone who wants to witness these animals in their natural habitat.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So like the landscape there goes through some pretty
Does.
extreme changes throughout the year.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
The Pantanal has these really dramatic seasonal floods that completely transform the environment. And then as the water recedes, it leaves behind all these lagoons, marshes, islands.
Oh, wow.
You name it. It's like a giant puzzle where the pieces are constantly shifting and changing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it creates this incredibly rich and
That don't-
dynamic ecosystem.
That's incredible. So, and this
Yeah.
constant change makes for,
It does.
the very unique environment for the animals who live there.
Sure.
Speaking of, the dry season is when the Pantanal truly becomes like a wildlife spectacle.
Absolutely. So between May and October, the water recedes, the animals, they all have to congregate around the remaining water sources.
okay.
So it's a photographer's dream, and if you are a jaguar enthusiast, the Pantanal is the place to be.
Wow.
Remember how we said the Pantanal was teeming with life?
Yeah.
Well, it boasts the highest concentration of jaguars anywhere in the world.
That is awesome. What makes this place so perfect for jaguars? Is it just
Well, I mean,
the abundant prey?
prey is definitely a huge factor,
Okay.
but there's another fascinating thing
Okay.
about these jaguars. They are expert swimmers.
Wow.
While jaguars in other regions, they tend to avoid the water.
Right.
Pantanal jaguars have fully embraced it.
Wow.
They've become so sleek and powerful in the water, and they've even been known to hunt capybaras
Oh, wow.
and even caimans
Oh,
in the
whoa.
water.
I'm trying to picture a jaguar taking down a caiman.
I know, it's insane.
It's so cool how they've,
Really
adapted to
hard.
that environment.
Yeah.
But jaguars aren't the only things drawing visitors to the Pantanal.
Right.
What else makes this place so special?
Well, the Pantanal is home to over 1,000 bird species, 400 fish species,
Wow.
300 mammal species. I mean, the diversity there
That's amazing.
is truly staggering.
So many cool animals. I mean, are there
Right?
any standouts that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, you can't talk about the Pantanal without mentioning the hyacinth macaw.
Okay.
You've probably seen blue parrots before, but the hyacinth macaw is on another level. Just imagine a bird like the size of a small dog
Oh, wow.
with these brilliant blue feathers that look like they glow in the sunlight.
That's crazy.
They're really magnificent. And then you've got the howler monkeys, and you can just hear their calls echoing across the wetlands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then
Sounds like a symphony of nature.
it really is.
I mean, it's amazing to me with all these jaguars
Yeah.
and birds and monkeys. The other animals don't get overshadowed. What else should we be looking for?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to discover.
Yeah.
The giant antpeters, they are just these oddly captivating creatures.
Okay.
Seeing one lumber through the grasslands, it's something you won't soon forget.
Wow.
Then there's the marsh deer. They're uniquely adapted to that life
Oh, yeah.
in the wetlands.
Right.
And we can't forget the jabiru stork. It's the tallest flying bird
Oh, wow.
in the Americas. Just a magnificent sight to see it soaring over the Pantanal.
It's amazing how this one area can be home to so many different types of creatures.
Yeah, it's really something else.
And it's not just the wildlife that thrives there.
Right.
There's a rich human history
Yes, for
in the Pantanal, too.
You're right. The Pantanero people, they're traditional cattle ranchers.
Oh,
They've called the Pantanal home for centuries.
wow.
And they've learned to coexist with the wildlife using these sustainable ranching methods
Yeah.
that have been passed down for generations.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a unique example of how humans and nature
Yeah.
can live in relative harmony.
Sadly, it sounds like that way of life might be in jeopardy.
Unfortunately, yes.
I imagine this unique ecosystem is facing some threats.
Definitely. Deforestation, driven by unsustainable agricultural practices,
Okay.
is a big threat
Yeah.
to that delicate balance that they've achieved.
Wow.
And then the ever-looming threat of climate change also casts a shadow on the Pantanal's future.
It's sad because you think about a place that's
Yeah.
so rich in life, and it can be so vulnerable.
Yeah, it really makes you realize how fragile
Yeah.
everything is.
So what can we do to help?
Well, that is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Responsible ecotourism can actually
Really?
make a huge difference.
Okay.
When it's done right, it can give economic benefits to the local communities
Right.
while promoting conservation, so that's really important. Supporting wildlife protection initiatives is also crucial. But maybe the most important thing is raising awareness.
Yeah.
You know, the more people who understand the Pantanal's importance
Right.
and what it's facing,
Yeah.
the better chance we have of protecting this incredible place.
Yeah. It really makes you think,
That's it.
if a place like that can be so vulnerable, then
Totally.
what does that tell us about the rest of the earth?
Exactly.
As we wrap up this deep dive on the Pantanal,
Okay.
just wanted to say, we've talked about so much,
We have
the wildlife, the
the weird
landscapes.
challenges.
There's still so much more to discover.
Yeah.
So if you're at all interested in seeing this place,
Yeah,
consider putting it on your list.
definitely.
Go explore Jaguarland for yourself.
It's worth it.
And, let its beauty
Yeah.
and fragility remind you how important it is to protect these wild places
Absolutely.
in our world.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, that is it for our deep dive into Jaguarland.
Great deep dive.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for having me.